Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everybody.
The
Happy
13th.
Friday the 13th at that. Friday,
The
September the
13th.
13th. Yeah, that's crazy. So I am Keisha. I'm one half of the host of the Regal Mindset Podcast show. And Joy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Joy, the coach. I am your mystic, your millionaire, your mindset transformer. I'm the other half of the Regal Mindset, and we are excited to have you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, tonight is interesting conversation, and hopefully we have some engagement and discuss some other things outside of what I guess our initial discussion is going to be about in terms of rebuilding relationships, life and love. So both personal and of course within your family dynamic. So I'm excited to talk about this.
I am too.
I think I know how you feel, right? Because usually you're just like, hey, if it's done, it's done. I ain't going, it's over, So I get that, but then I feel like there's healthy moments in life where you realize, whether it was professional,
Hmm.
um, or growth, personal growth, emotional growth, whatever that is, that may cause you to revisit a relationship and in some instances maybe evaluate whether or not that relationship is worth uh, moving forward, especially if you both have looked at your own personal journeys and figure out if that person is going to add any value to your life, right?
Right,
So
right. And,
have you
and
ever
then
had
it looks different from men and women.
true?
It look different from friendships, relationships. So it's a lot to unpack with it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would ask you if that's ever happened to you. Have you ever had a relationship, friendship, or relative dynamic where you've had to revisit and kind of say,
Yeah, for
really?
both sides,
Okay.
good and nope, we're good.
Solid no.
Yeah, it's a no for me. So, family wise, I would say it had to do with my mom.
Okay.
That was I decided that it was necessary to address certain issues
Okay.
that because I mean over the years we navigated life together without dealing with any situation, right?
Okay.
And so she made a derogatory comment towards my now wife and our child, and just some derogatory statements, something common for her.
Okay.
But I had to let her know, this is what you're going to respect the situation, bottom line. And it
Yeah.
was in an email,
Oh, okay.
because I had to get it out.
Okay.
And my mom had a really unique gift of gaslighting the shit out you.
Okay.
And reality never was reality. And, the lack of ownership, the lack of accountability, it was all of that there. And, and she wasn't narcissist. She wasn't a narcissist, but she had a lot of narcissistic ways about
Mm,
how she dealt with you.
okay.
So you would literally go in knowing I have on a black shirt with white flowers. And by the time we finished talking, in my head, maybe I didn't wear black, knowing I'm looking at the black. And she had that hold on me.
Yeah.
And so after I addressed the situation to her, I gave her an option. I said, it's one or two things. What's going on, sexy face? I said, it's one or two things. You can either accept it and respect it, or you just won't have any one of us in your life.
Okay.
And shortly after, we didn't talk. Shortly
Oh.
after, she ended up going into a coma.
Oh,
I
wow.
still didn't feel bad about what I said because I wasn't disrespectful about it.
Okay.
And when she came out of the coma, the first thing that she mouthed while even the tube was in her mouth was, "I'm sorry."
Okay.
And so that was good because it pivoted us in a good direction, even
Okay.
if it was only for a couple of months until she passed.
Yeah.
Um, so that, yes, we was able to build it and rebuild it to a good place
Yeah.
where we enjoyed each other those years. But
Okay.
then I've had friends where I tried and and it was an absolute, yeah, I'm good. And it took a while because I'm a true Cancer to my heart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna you. I have people that I'm still cordial with that have talked about me, said things, did things deliberately, all kind of stuff, and I forgive you because I'm 100%. You can call on me right now, and I'll probably still be there.
Yeah.
Right? But it's also to a point where I've told, I want to say, 4 people in my entire life, we're not friends, and we can't
Mm.
be friends.
Wow. So was it a
And
matter of you
um,
being friends with them and them not knowing how to be your friend?
I've already told them how to be my friend
Okay.
through actions, through
Okay.
verbal, through communication. One person, she violated my house when
Mm-hmm.
she slept with my girl at that time, my girlfriend.
Okay.
And, so that was enough within itself. And I tried to forgive her.
Mm.
Yeah, it didn't. It was like I just woke up one morning literally and was like, yeah, I think I'm done. And we ain't spoke since. When I'm lying, she hit me up on Facebook a couple years later and we still,
Yeah.
I'm moved on.
Yeah.
I had another friend and we became roommates and that broke our friendship
Mm.
because, we're really good friends. We're still friends to this day now. We had to get back together,
Okay.
but our lifestyles was too different. She could party Monday through Sunday, have 30 people over, and I got one day off that week because I worked 24/7. I had a day shift, night shift, and a weekend job.
Mm.
And when I come home, your friends that ate everything, they've stolen out my room. And it was just a constant respect me as your roommate.
Sure.
And I come in, 5 or 6 other friends on the sofa wrapped up in my comforters. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
And we had to share a bathroom. That was a big thing. And I was very specific. We need separate bathrooms.
Yeah.
You had a girlfriend. I don't like certain things,
Yeah.
so that was it. And then it was just, then when she's a very talkative person
Mm-hmm.
and she'll repeat the same story over and over, over and over. So what she did was she repeated our situation to some strangers. And at my company party,
Oh man.
I just so happened to be engaging with somebody I had never met before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah, because I was a leasing agent. So it was the Maryland leasing department, whatever. We was there. And she was telling me about this girl that told her about this other girl. And I'm like, what? And she just began to tell me the whole story. And then she called the girl name. I said, wow. So you didn't voice
Oh.
it to me. You voiced it to a complete stranger, and out of all nights, this stranger, I met this stranger, and she's telling me everything that you said.
Yeah.
And I literally moved out the next day.
Oh man.
Oh, break a lease, I don't give 3 fucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in situations like that, now we got back friends because
Yeah.
I truly loved her as a friend.
Okay. So some
Has
time had
everything
passed.
been and everything
Okay.
been the way it was? No. But can it be? Yes. If we were around each other more.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, I love her. I trust her.
Yeah.
But that situation, she had to learn, one, keep your mouth closed. Because
Sure.
you could have told me.
Yeah.
So and then it was 2 other people. And I was like, no, I don't think friendship is for us.
Yeah.
And we've grown and it's
Yeah.
okay. Move on.
Yeah. And that's true. I was just going to add that sometimes when you revisit, those relationships, you really have to check to see, with your own personal mental space and whether or not that person is worthy to be returned or reintroduced into your life where you are now.
Because you're
Right.
not the same person, especially if
Absolutely.
there's been some time. I'm
Yeah.
not the same person.
Yeah, or at least you shouldn't be. Yeah, and them as well, right? But in some instances, like you said, if you guys have been able to meet at different places, you either have a emotionally have grown, right? Um, Maturity. Hopefully, you have matured since that time. Uh, what I would hope is that life had taught you that the value one of
Right.
friendship, or the relationship, if especially if a family member. For me, I could say, I don't know that I visit or revisit, those kinds of relationship often. I remember instances in life where that, that has happened, right? Um, I would say probably more so with um friends and family, not necessarily like a coworker or anything like that. But it's the same evaluation. Does this person uh have anything, do I feel like this person can add any value to my life in terms of, can we actually grow, right? Or are they going to mentally drain me any more than necessary, right?
Right.
And the moment that I feel like this person is no longer able to hold space in my life, we have to separate. And I am completely okay with telling this person, you no longer have any space in my
Right.
life. It just doesn't work for me right now. I wish you nothing but the best.
Exactly. Because are you willing to give that person the gun again? That's the
Yeah.
reason why I am not. When we had that episode about spinning the block,
Yeah.
when it came down to relationships, there is no relationship, even my wife, that when we broke up, that we got back together. Now
Yeah.
we did that lesbian, I don't like you this week. Okay, but I still love you. But we never broke up, moved on, and then got back together.
Gotcha.
So anybody would tell you, like with me, it took me a while to get you out my system.
Mm-hmm.
There is no coming back in that level. And
Right.
especially if you're the reason why I'm hurting.
I get that.
And that is right. You outgrow, you like you
Yeah,
stated
absolutely.
before, Keisha, you're supposed to grow.
Yeah.
But we have to look at what that outgrow looks like, because we could be thinking we're growing. And this is not particular anything. We're just talking about the conversation about outgrowing.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look at what growth look like, because weeds grow quicker than the actual seed of a flower.
Yeah.
So then we have to look at what type of growth are we going through, because sometimes when we're in relationships, we are growing, but we have a different experience where it make you feel like you're outgrown that person,
Mm-hmm.
versus we haven't communicated that growth too.
Okay.
And we talked about this a little bit with when we was talking about transgendering.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't transition with you. So then
Absolutely.
when like in those situations, you can't always say you outgrow the person.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't transition with you. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, you on chapter 13 and I'm on chapter 8, but we're in the same book.
Yeah. Great
That
analogy.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean we outgrew each other. That means we're reading at a different pace, and we need to back up and reevaluate where we stand with each other.
Right. Absolutely.
Because you might have not just grown up then, you just might see things differently now that you see the real person.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
And
even go. I'm sorry.
no, no, no,
I
go
would
ahead.
even go so far as to say you should be you should be doing that periodically through life anyway.
Right.
Anyway, you should always be evaluating your circle and whether or not, and it's also, and sometimes it's also you. Am I adding any value to the friends that are people I have close around me? Am I
Mm-hmm.
doing my part, right? Am I being a friend to them as I
That check
expect for
in.
them to be to me?
But
Absolutely.
but everybody should have that friend that you can go to and say, you know what am I doing wrong? You
Mm,
know me, if I come to you and we're talking about relationship, I trust what you say. And I'm saying that with all honesty.
mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me, no, Jay, that was you, I got to sit with that and say, okay,
Sure.
where is it me? Where can I fix it? Or not try to make an excuse. I'm standing on that. I'm not
Yeah.
moving from that.
Yeah.
So you have to have that circle of friends that you can trust, that don't mean you that means you the best in life. And
Yeah.
you know who those friends are.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to butter you up. That's going to be like you slipping. And while you slipping and falling, and I had this conversation with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I supported them when I say in everything, God, dog, friend, you name it, I supported you wholeheartedly. So when I came to you and expressed how I felt, and you told me where I was wrong,
Mm.
you gaslighting me. That's not going to happen. You don't accept ownership. I gave you examples. I didn't just come to you with a conversation. I gave you examples.
Right.
On this day, you did this, this, this. This is how it made me feel. I don't, and you still accept it, then therefore, you the effectiveness of our communication is now over.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that.
Oh, for sure.
Because like Jessica say, effective communication is key, but everybody don't know what effective means.
That part. Exactly.
If you don't have a conversation and whether you walk away mad, happy, or glad, if there's not a path from that communication, you have not effectively communicated.
Mm-hmm.
Because you should never walk away thinking, misunderstand nothing. I have to come back and revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're going to sit up for a couple of hours until it's completely out because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to come back.
Mm-hmm. And
And
oftentimes, you have to check in with that person to make sure that you're understanding what they're trying to communicate. That's a part of the effective communication, right? This is what I heard you say, or I interpret what you said as this. Is that what
right,
you mean? Just checking in with them, right? And they're
that
going to tell you
mirroring.
whether or not it's yeah, that's what I mean, or no, I said that, but I this is what I mean, and this is let me give you more context about that.
Mhm.
So absolutely. But I will say this one little caveat: family is different in the sense that genetically you're related. There's some sort of I see your face. There's some sort of thread that's always going to bind you, right? So, and
Mhm.
for me, I treat it slightly different in the sense that you don't have to come to my house every week, or you don't have to come to my house ever, right? If there's something that happened between you and I, and we're related, we're family, and you visit me or come back to me at some point and say, hey, I know I was out of pocket, some years ago, and I need to do things right, or how whatever.
Mhm.
And I feel like that, but it's not easy. You can't just come back. It's got to be some change that I see and that I feel, and that it's got to be genuine. And again,
Mhm.
it's gonna take some time. We can't just break bread every weekend like maybe
Right.
we used to at one point. So
So
for me,
we're
it's slightly different.
right, but we're dealing with on both sides of our family
Mm-hmm.
redefining what family looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've learned I'm gonna talk about my family in Jacksonville, Florida, and y'all know who y'all are.
Come through, Jacksonville.
Listen, it's one or two of our cousins,
Uh-huh.
and I know selfishly I separate our cousinhood by age. Me
Oh,
and my cousin, we grew up together. We close to
okay.
the same age. Y'all little cousins. Y'all don't matter.
Look.
We run this family. Y'all just here. But that's just it. We was here first. So
Okay.
so that's that selfish part about it.
Sure.
But what we realized over the past couple of weeks is when family are quick to say you're not family because you don't do what they want you to do and how you want to do it, and then they want to dismiss you. Family
Mm-hmm.
should not have conditions.
Mm.
So I had one cousin to say out loud that pretty much fuck me because Joy got money and won't help me. Well, first of all, I don't care enough when you don't care enough. You're not my child. You're my cousin. But if you do something that I don't agree with the law, you have to own that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell anybody, when you are ready to do for yourself, I'm willing to help you to a point. I'm not here to enable you.
Mm-hmm.
And the unfortunate part, these two younger cousins were enabled their entire life. They were spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and people got to understand, spoiled is on two different levels. We don't mean get everything you want. It also being spoiled is when you don't hold a person accountable or responsible. You enable them. I don't care if they're poor. If you can give them a certain entitlement that
Mm-hmm.
will cause them not to be right. And like I told them, first of all, I earned my dollar. That's not your dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I don't owe you anything because I didn't leave you. Three, we wasn't raised together. Four, I'm grown. Five, I don't care. When you are ready to do the best for you, come to Cousin Joy. Let's talk about it. Let's get a plan of success. Everybody know that's how it works.
Yeah.
Don't come to me without a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do handouts. I don't do anything. And when I do give you something, we have a conversation. Is this a gift from me or are you asking to borrow? I'm borrowing to pay you back. I'm gonna hold you to that. Even if I don't accept it, you still should pay it back. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't pay it back, that door has closed. I don't care if it's $20 because you got to be a person of your word. So I've had these conversations. So what he did was put me in a category of that I ain't shit because I won't give to what he wants. Oh, she know I needed a bed. How? How did I know that you needed a bed?
Yeah.
How did I? Like literally, when did you call? When did you don't got my number? When did you reach out? When did I get a message about I don't have a bed? When that day I came in your room and all them people was in there, they were sitting on a bed. So that was just a couple of months ago. So I didn't know you didn't have a bed. And I'm okay. And he got mad and called himself cutting everybody off. Sir, I'm perfectly fine
Yeah.
because my check's still cash.
Yeah.
And so and I finding out that a lot of family, if you don't give them that what they define as family,
Yeah.
then you ain't jack to them. And we're having the same incident with our own kids.
Mm.
We had a situation that blew out of hand, and apparently we ain't crap to them either, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I feel like sometimes those type things, like you said, especially if it's family, sometimes those things or those instances actually come in phases or waves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this week we're not the flavor of the month, right? And that's like you said,
Right.
totally
I like
okay.
that.
However, next week, when it's not as sunny outside and you want
Mm-hmm.
some ice cream, perhaps we might be the flavor of the month, all right? Maybe you've
Right.
grown, you understand that your tantrum, may have been out of order and you want to apologize. When you approach me again, make sure that you've checked yourself, right?
I mean, checked it all away.
Okay. And just because you check yourself and you knock back on this door doesn't mean that I have to open it.
Don't make me run.
Okay.
Because I ain't opening the door. I'll
Okay.
sit there and hear it knock.
Okay. Listen, I got the ring camera. I'm gonna look at you.
I
Yes, how
see
can I
you.
help you?
I see you. The house is not home. Come back
Right,
later.
right. So again, that's something that we have to evaluate because we have to be protective of our own peace, right? And that
Right.
includes family members, right, or loved ones, right? So we have to be protective of our own peace and be able to discern or decide whether or not, you know what? Hey, I hear you. I appreciate you, apologizing or what have you. And that be what it is, right? And once they earn or if they earn themselves back to a place where we previously were, then okay. But I have to set clear boundaries, like you said, in terms of what it is I allow you to do and what you feel like you're gonna get away with.
So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this string and run it into the river.
Yeah.
I personally feel
Uh-huh.
that millennials, Gen Zs set boundaries.
Okay.
Gen X's, we close doors. We burn
Okay.
bridges because we don't care. I've learned we know how to do without you because the way that we were raised and how we had to do it ourselves. And a lot of people don't understand that. Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, because when I have conversations with people, they was like, "Well, I don't want to burn that bridge." I said, "Listen, I don't burn bridges, but I carry a can of gas for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you set it on fire, I'm dousing it. I'm going to end this conversation. I'm telling you, we're going to go up in flames together."
Okay.
And I can swim. So let us fall in the water. And I think with the setting boundaries, even with boundaries being set, people don't understand what a boundary is.
Mm.
So when you're setting boundaries with, say, money,
Okay.
so we're setting boundaries where I'm still open and accessible to you, just
Mm-hmm.
may not be at that dollar amount.
Okay.
To me, that's a boundary.
Okay.
Me, if you ain't paid back them $20 from 4 years ago, the door is closed.
Okay.
There is no window. And because I communicate this very
Mm-hmm.
effectively, I tell you, if you don't pay me back, you know not to ask me no more.
Right.
I'm gonna pay you back, and that's it. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, Abby was mad at me about $14 a day. I don't care who you are,
Not the baby.
the baby, because she was trying to get her money back. No, you went to Five and Below. You used my card because they didn't take cash, and I took your cash. You're paying for this. I don't care who you are.
All things are lessons that God will have us learn.
They got to. So I feel like with our generation, we don't mind closing the door because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we realize the entrance,
Yeah.
and it's not a revolving door where one, we're not going to have a revolving door. Two, it's not a two-way street. If
Yeah.
you're coming to me and I've already positioned myself that if I'm in trouble, I can never come to you because you're not on that level, I'm willing to close the door, not set a
Okay.
boundary.
Okay.
But I will set a boundary if there's some benefit in it.
Mm. Okay.
Because you want to keep a relationship, but you want to have rules.
Sure. Sure.
But we have to be clear. If there's no benefit, I'm not going to just keep letting you come in and take and not replenish it and then hold me accountable to a need that I didn't even know existed and couldn't meet.
I agree.
So no, we can close that
I
door.
agree. I agree.
Close it.
You know what? Even as you were saying that, I was thinking that, sometimes, like you said, people will test the waters, so to speak, and feel like, they can try something that they feel like they might be able to get away with. And maybe one or two times you might, you got that off. Okay. I'm going to give you that. But then that third time when I'm really looking and I'm paying attention, maybe I was distracted all the other times or what have you. But you keep trying that, let's say, for example, you just come in and just be disruptive with the environment, right? Your energy is just way off. At this moment, I have to really say, you know what? I feel like this is not the first time you've done that.
Right.
And because the way you have continued, you've been consistent. Now they 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be consistent,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're disturbing the atmosphere, right? And just genuinely say, you know what, I just your energy and just the way you carry things and yourself, it's just not. I'm not there.
Right.
And because of that, I have to keep you at a distance. So for me,
Right.
that's me setting that boundary, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to always look like it's a monetary value. But I can say that comfortably and say, you know what, I just don't have energy or want to hold space or time with you together at the same time. And I'm okay with that. And you could be my brother. You
Right.
could be my sister. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm thinking also on the other side of that, at some point we have to, as we're expecting or taking evaluation of our own lives, we at some point have to evaluate ourselves and ask ourselves, have I been a good sister, a good brother to, my siblings? Have I been a good aunt? Have I been a good daughter? Have I, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And even when we find ourselves at questionable, you know what, maybe I could have did some things better. That's that emotional or maturity, growth within us, and then we find ourselves having to come back to the table and say, hey, I did some things that, maybe how I was acting just wasn't right. It's not where I am today. I want to apologize or what have you. And will you accept my apology? Sometimes we find ourselves on that end of
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? We have to be mature enough to be able to, one, recognize that, come back to the table, apologize, and ask that person for forgiveness and say, hey, can I sit at the table? Can we, oh man, amen. They call. So why they're mad at me? I'm sick of. Oh, are they? I'm sorry.
Wow.
But yeah,
But let me ask you this. So, would you say that that's setting boundary for yourself or setting boundaries for them? Because I want to revisit setting boundaries, and a lot of people
right.
say I set boundaries, but if you didn't communicate that boundary is for them, or
Okay.
was that boundary for you?
Ah, you know what? I don't know until you asked that whether it was important enough for me to establish the difference between. So in that particular instance, if I'm cutting you off because of the way you've been maneuvering and your energy is off and your intention is to disrupt my peace, that boundary is for me, right? Because I can then
Right.
say it just does not work for me, right? I don't know that I have to. I'm comfortable communicating that to you, but
Mm-hmm.
whether it belongs to you personally, I don't know that I care that much. I just care that it's my boundary and I'm excusing you.
Because
We should
that
never
is that
butt with
level of
us.
maturity that you're talking about.
Yeah.
is then you can set that boundary for yourself and say, you know what, I allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm not even, that's you. I know, I saw, I've experienced who
Yeah.
you are.
Yep.
So because of that, I'm going to correct who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can still deal with you and
Mm-hmm.
accept you for who you are. But I only can control that percentage, the one stream that I have,
Okay. Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. But then the other
So
part, like you said, to even go a step further is I'm only responsible for what I can do. I can't
right,
control you. Like if I allow you access one more time and you disturb me, we all back at square one. Now this is a behavior. This is a
right,
pattern, right? I've
right,
allowed you one or two times, and after the third time, I've cut you off and I've let you back again. That's on me. So
right,
I'm only responsible for what I can be responsible for. So in that instance, I can then say, this is a hard stop. This is a clear boundary. This is for me.
right. Don't pass
I
go. Don't
cannot,
collect $200.
yeah, I cannot allow you access to me. I can not allow any energy spent on or towards you. This is it.
It's it.
Yeah.
And so I would take away the fact that set your boundary with you first.
Okay.
And then because you can't always okay. I saw a podcast one. It was a training, and the boy was like, "See, that's a trigger for me." And that's this. She said, "Well, why did you highlight the trigger? As in, you put the trigger up and say, here go my trigger button. Somebody's gonna come and touch it. But if you never presented it as a trigger, nobody wouldn't have triggered you."
Okay.
So she said, at the end of the day, it's you that can control what's triggered. And so a lot of people want to set boundaries for other people
Mm-hmm.
when you're the problem.
That's big.
And like you just said, understanding that emotional maturity in yourself to be able to say, I was wrong. Oh, I was a funky friend. Yeah, I was real shitty. I owe you that one.
Yeah.
And not just with your relationship, but in friendships. Because if you there's still a relationship. They just
Yeah.
not you might not be married to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people got to get out of that thinking, in my opinion. Yeah, that thinking is me and you against the world. Ah, boo. You have to live peaceably with all men as
Yeah.
it be unto you. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You do your best to live peaceably with everybody. And a friend is valuable. And if you, for our spiritual Bible thumpers, greater love has no man than that he would lay down his life for a friend. He didn't say for your wife. Didn't say for your cat or your dog. Your friend. We can even take it a step further. What he told Job, he turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Quit
Mm-hmm.
thinking it's you and boo against the world.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a level of reach in your surroundings. So create the boundary for yourself. Check yourself. And if you can't check yourself, get in a good circle of friends that you can say, help me see me. And let somebody give you not criticism,
Mm-hmm.
not critique because you ain't perfect either,
Mm-hmm.
but from their experience with you. Well, I witnessed when we went to dinner and how rude you was to the waitress. That's an experience that we witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me telling you you bad with your money. You bad with your attitude and it was inappropriate.
For sure.
Or yeah, so you safe. Ain't nobody gonna walk out there feeling no type of way just because somebody told the truth about you.
Yeah.
But as long as they did it to you.
Yeah.
It's called intervention.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up a great point because your circle of friends or people that you surround yourself with should be comfortable enough to be able to offer you that piece of information, right? And
Right.
you not take it in the sense that it's like everybody's ganging up on you. If that's the case always where people are bringing things to your attention that you need to address about you, then that's the big flag right there telling you
It's the
9 times out
problem.
of 10 is you.
Yeah, it's
It's
you.
you. Common denominator.
Right. Listen, you are the one and you need to fix it.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what I think happens often is that people have this mirror up, and because people keeps bringing these things to their attention, that's not what they see when they look in the mirror, and so that's why they keep denying it. That's why it's like, no, it's them. It's their fault. It's everybody else, but them,
Like
because the
it's like,
mirror doesn't
yeah,
show that them.
it's
Doesn't
like
show them that.
them lesbians that always, especially them studs. I'm gonna jump on y'all case. Y'all
Metal.
get into these relationships. Y'all want to say what the other person did. They cheated on me. They cheated. They treated me bad. They didn't do this. They didn't. Well, what did you do?
Okay.
Because when you really hear it, and I'm not saying other women doesn't do it, but it's typically coming from the stud mouth who's back home living with her grandma or sleeping on somebody's couch. It's telling you everything wrong that somebody else did, but not one time said, "Well, I didn't work. I didn't contribute to the house. I didn't wash clothes. I ain't take a bath. You ain't saying nothing." But you could tell us, and and I was like that too, and I had to catch myself when I was out on the dating scene years ago, because I'm trapped now.
Yeah, you
But
locked
back
in.
when I was on the dating scene, when I found myself getting into that conversation of everything she didn't do, I had to
Uh-huh.
catch myself and be like, that ain't what we here to talk about. Because that is a place of trauma that you are living in. You're living in, you want to be handicapped. You want to be miserable. If that is how you're trying to draw attention and love to yourself, to where you have to bring up everything hurtful to get the sympathy of somebody, that's not love. That's
Right.
that's equivalent to you on Facebook posting a picture of the IV in your arm. Boo boo, they give it to everybody when you get there so that they don't have to do it later. That doesn't mean you're in the hospital. And most people in the hospital is not posting about it. We got other stuff to do,
Yeah,
like get
you're trying
out.
to get better. Yeah, that
I'm
part.
not walking around with a wristband for 3 weeks, and that's what that is. It's as equivalent to that. So no, like you
Yeah.
said, you're the common denominator. Get it together.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
the problem.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about a scenario where an ex of mine some years ago, because like you, I've been married for actually this Tuesday it'll be 7 years.
7. That's a
Um,
good number. You're
yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. Just happened to be 7 this year, But
You're welcome.
so anyway, an ex of mine's asked me had I ever hurt anybody. I'm like, no,
Like,
I
yeah, I
ain't
did.
never hurt nobody. But until that moment, I had never considered or thought about me ever hurting somebody. Because again, I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see a person who's out here maneuvering and dealing with people and dating people, and I hurt them. I never saw that for myself.
I
I
don't
had
think
to
nobody does.
Man, I had to check with myself. I had check myself, sit with myself, and really think. So thank God she asked me that question. Otherwise, I don't know at what point I would have even thought about it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Because you think, because your intention may not have been to hurt them, doesn't mean you
exactly.
didn't hurt them.
Right, right, right. And I was out here now, and then at that time when I thought about, it, I was like, man, oh man, I need to, I need to listen. I'm sorry. This is a blanket statement, to everybody. I'm sorry. Okay,
Right.
I was foul.
And honestly, I had a young lady. This is when I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So it was over 10 plus thousand. It's almost 20 years. I did, before I left, I did apologize to her.
Oh, okay.
And because I didn't I didn't like her like that, but she liked me like that.
Oh,
And yeah, we had fun, but she wanted relationship fun.
okay.
And it was no, we're gonna do this one time because I'm mad at my girl that we just broke up with. And it is what it is. And I ghost her, even though we was in the same town around the same friends. I stopped talking to her because she started becoming too much.
Okay.
And I never dealt with it properly.
Okay.
And so before I left Fayetteville, I apologized and I said, I whether you receive it or not, it's not like I'm sick and dying that I need to get this out, but I realized that what I did do and how it affected you.
Yeah. Do you think she received it?
She didn't in the moment because she still
Okay.
wanted to be mad. But years later, after I had moved to Jacksonville and moved to Maryland, she hit me up on Facebook and she said, "Hey," and I don't even see her on Facebook. It's been years.
Oh.
But I mean, I assumed that she, got past it. But I was real. I was like, I was wrong for even entertaining it, knowing that you were there and I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you wanted a boo and I wanted you to leave me alone.
Well, your needs and wants were different at the time, and like you said, even though she had different intentions, and you certainly had different intentions, at that moment, you guys were both acting out of whatever for that moment, and then once you matured or came to a place where you had to apologize, you did the right thing. You tried to
Yeah,
make it
I
right.
apologize. And
Yeah,
I mean,
and
and we talked about it and I laughed and joked about it a lot, but I told her, the girl, you were so much older than me. Number one, you was old. You was older. And
well,
I
you
was,
know,
I was pimping. You're not going to get out here and mess up the game. I was at
okay.
Crazy Ray's at the strip club almost every other weekend. Leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
calling me while I'm throwing dollars. We're
yeah,
not on the same page.
yeah. She saw something in you, though. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
she
So
did.
sometimes
And
that
I
happens.
didn't listen. And I saw me being the biggest whole Fayetteville could tolerate. I dated
Listen,
two strippers back then. So
okay. She wanted to be on the roster.
you can't be. No, you was like my older sister for real.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
But
get it.
but if I like, but she really wasn't anybody that I would have settled down with. But
Okay,
she was a really good person, and
okay.
I hurt her. She was a
Yeah,
really good person. She didn't deserve it, but
yeah.
it happened.
You know what? That brings me to another situation where, like, what happens, and I'll give you a scenario when the other person doesn't necessarily want to hear or receive your apology. For me personally, I still feel as though you have to give it because that releases you. It's and at some point later in life, if that person, finds it in their heart, to receive that, then that's fine. If they reach out, that's fine too. Um, Another ex, and we had a really bad breakup and very toxic situation. And years later, I found myself after many other relationship stuff happened with other
You're
people.
the pimp. Just go
It
to say
never
it.
was working because I was so angry at this other person. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So my point in saying that is I had to call that person and apologize to that person. And I didn't even give them the chance. They picked up the phone and said, "Hey, I just need to apologize because my life is really crazy right now and I just need to be able to move on." And she was like, "Well, first let me apologize." I was like, "Okay, yeah,
right,
okay. Give it to me, girl." But no, she apologized. I apologized. And it felt great. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, pick up any friendship or anything like that. But I know I needed to do that for me, right? And whether she, can or apologize for the things that contributed to what happened at that time, that was
right,
on her and her conscience, right? It has nothing to do with me. But I knew I did some things that I needed to apologize for, and she gave me the opportunity when she, picked up the phone because she could have not answered the phone, right?
right,
She could have said, "Jump off the nearest bridge."
right.
I don't know, but if they close that door and don't give you the opportunity to apologize, then what do we do? Let's
Shake
say
the
she
dust off
doesn't
your
answer
feet
the
and keep
phone.
it
I ain't
walking.
talking to you.
All right, shake the dust off my feet and keep it walking. Because at the end of the day, I tried, and it was a sincere try. Now
Yeah.
it's when people are apologizing. Well, I'm apologizing because you felt. Don't come to me like that.
Okay.
Apologize because of what you said and how it affected me, and allow me to express how it affected me. Because we have to realize that what I gave you is not necessarily how you received it. Because I can mean it one way, but
Mm-hmm.
because of your experiences, your hurts, your
Mm-hmm.
thinking, you took it a different way, and we need to clarify that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of miscommunication comes in at. I can effectively give it out,
Yeah.
but it's still a miscommunication because by the time it hit here and got there, it was a totally different story. And then it zipped down here, went to your heart, came back up, and then came out. Then it came out. It's too much.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
so you have to see, to me, you have to evaluate the situation because some situations don't deserve an apology.
Okay.
It can deserve an acknowledgement. I acknowledge that that happened. Prime example. What's the guy, something, the creator?
Tyler, the creator.
Tyler, the creator, and the guy that was his friend, the guy that told him he liked him, his gay friend.
Oh yeah. Michael Carmichael.
And
Yeah.
when that to me was, to me,
Uh-huh.
I looked at their friendship,
Sure.
your closest friends. Tyler see us as a brother. You're seeing us as it could possibly be more. So as my friend, I feel close enough to release how I feel. And then I'm hurt because of the response I got. Tyler gave you a true response.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't see you like that.
Mm-hmm.
He said some other stuff, but that was his reaction. But you lived in a couple of months or a year or whatever hurt because he did not navigate your emotions. That wasn't his responsibility.
True.
His
Good point.
responsibility was to acknowledge it. And even when I watched that, I still didn't hear him say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that he ever did.
No, but he didn't. I don't, and again, correct us if we're wrong. I don't remember an apology, but he did at least acknowledge the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He acknowledged the situation existed, and he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm big
Mm-hmm.
straight. And he
Mm-hmm.
ended it with big straight. That was a pun.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep in mind that everybody don't owe you an apology.
That's true. That's true. In that instance itself, with Tyler the Creator and Michael Carmichael, I think
Mhm.
it is. Uh, I feel like Michael walked away with expectations that, like you said, that he built up in his mind, and because they didn't play out in that manner, he held him accountable to what his thoughts were.
Mhm.
And Tyler, I think, although very awkward, right? Because I can't imagine, man, I just can't imagine going through that. And him not responding, like you said, in the way that he could have, right? Maybe he could have acknowledged. I don't know that the way they cut the scene up, I don't know if it was he acknowledged it then or if he just said, man, I can't believe you, shut the fuck up, and
Yeah, he did, but he said that. He
okay,
acknowledged with the, like, I can't remember the exact statement. He
right,
was like, quit playing with me. Go fuck off. That's how he acknowledged it.
okay, okay, okay. Because you can
If
take
you
that either
text,
way, like, oh, you're just kidding, or I can't
if
believe you
you
did that
text
stupid
me,
shit.
you text me that you like me, I'll be like, man, go somewhere.
Right. That's a
Now
normal
we're in each
reaction.
other's face. And you're like, no, I'm really, and it's like, all right, we need to deal with this because let me tell you what's going on. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
And why? But if you text me that stuff, I'm thinking you probably drunk. I don't know, you
Yeah.
lonely. And as your friend, because I've been that emotional support, it's just same thing when people are in tragic situations and the next thing you know, they're in a relationship. They bonded over that situation.
Ah.
So you're, as my friend, you know the type of person I am when it's time for relationships, love, you know everything about me. To me, I've created this storyline that it's a perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not even taking into account this boy don't want nothing about my ass but a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And as your friend, you should know that about your friend.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, I'm different. No, he doesn't like boys. Now, if it come out later, he do, that's fine. Tyler,
Yeah.
we'll accept you. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if you've been around him all these years and you've seen the way he's made statements like that before,
Okay.
he can still be your friend as a gay man and a straight man and still make awkward comments that lets you know what he likes.
Yeah.
Because what I can say is when it comes down to this gay straight thing, if you're so if it's so out of sync for you and it irritates you, then you have a problem you're struggling with.
Okay.
But then if you are comfortable around a person that's of the that is same-sex loving and you're comfortable and you free, then there's really no question that you're very satisfied in your sexual preference.
Mm-hmm.
So this, just because he's your friend and he's comfortable in his sexual preference doesn't make him a candidate to be your sexual preference.
Mm.
So when we watch this relationship play out on TV and everything like that, how do you feel it played out? Is that something they can rebuild? Because when they ended, me personally, I didn't think they could.
Yeah, or be very, very awkward and very tense for some years.
Right.
And I think that's kind of how it played out in the show, if I recall correctly. Even the conversation he had with his father, right? The father did had a whole family across
Hmm.
town, and the father never wanted to address that. And to be perfectly honest, that happens to a lot of families. Oh, let me not say that. It happens to me.
Okay.
You
No,
know,
but you're right. It happens to a lot of families.
yeah, the family or the parents or the people within the family dynamics don't want to talk about certain things, and it's like this huge elephant that follows them in the room, and it follows her every family reunion, every cook, every what, you know what I'm saying, and people just maneuver around just like it's not even there. So I think that it's very, very possible that that could have happened. Now, in terms of could they continue to be friends, I feel like maybe, but at some point we gotta address this because, like you said,
Right.
then it becomes just some toxic behavior where we're just engaged, like we don't see this elephant. You know what I'm saying? Like we just gonna carry on like this big thing between us doesn't exist. We have to
Right.
acknowledge this and find a way to either, I need to tell you how I feel so that you're okay. Not even that the other person gonna be okay, but I need to let me at least acknowledge, okay, I heard what you said. I don't necessarily feel the same way about you, and then move on.
Right. And I feel that he could have been a little bit more clear. But I
Tyler
think,
or
yeah, Tyler. I
okay,
think he could have
gotcha.
been a little bit more clear in his
Yeah,
response because he was giving those man, whoopee whoop. You know them like
yeah.
we
But what if
substitute
he's
words.
like that? What if
If
that, like,
he's
there's
like
some
that,
people
he
are like
could have
that.
acknowledged it, but maybe he's not his type.
Yeah. Then
Because my
say
thing is,
that.
we don't know. But the thing is, if you don't want him, you should have said, you know what, I prefer us to stay in a brother like relationship,
Yeah,
and I don't want to lose that.
right.
I definitely understand, and I'm flattered. You know, I'm glad that you felt comfortable of coming to me about that. But for my preference, I want to continue to be your brother,
Sure,
not a relationship.
sure,
To me,
sure.
that would have been closer. Closure.
Okay, okay.
They finished eating. He offered them some food. And just the way Carmichael was looking at him while he was eating was too much for me. Because I'm like, you eating gay. Like, come on now, eat that damn food and move on.
Yeah.
And then when he offered him some and he was like trying to give him food back, that's too intimate. Tyler was like, no, I'm good. You're trying to take it too far.
Yeah,
And then
I
that's
get
what
it.
people want to say, oh, you pushing your gay on me. Child, no, you want it. But what I'm saying is that I feel, and again, I'm not in a situation,
Right.
I feel he could have ended it with a more clear and effective statement.
Yeah. Which would have been a healthier way to leave
Yeah.
that, even if it's just going to be friendship from that moment forward, right? Then we can maintain a friendship because you've clearly stated where you are, and you know where I am. I'm just gonna have to get over myself. But then I'm
Right.
curious as to what happens when one person likes the other, shares with the other person, and then they don't necessarily feel the same.
Right. And it takes it, but it shouldn't have changed if you can clearly communicate with me that, yeah, we're not going to cross that boundary. I'm going to
Yeah,
put you in the headlock and we're going to have fun and go get this drink. And you're
yeah,
going to keep those feelings to yourself.
mm-hmm,
But then I can also understand how I feel. Now, it doesn't affect me the way it affected people, but I had three people that came to my mind now that cut me off because I like women. Now,
mm-hmm.
granted, if you're listening, you was not significant enough for me to really care, but I did notice, and it's your loss. So, and it wasn't even because of relationship. It was literally friendships. There was one girl I worked with. We would hang out. We go to the club together. I'm at the straight club. We having a good time. And then when you find out that I like girls, I never approached you. You wasn't even my light skin type because you was kind of like a big bird body, and I just didn't like it. And next thing you know, you didn't want to be my friend no more. And I'm like, but I never even said I liked you. Then, I had a situation at church. We was legitimately friends. Her boyfriend didn't want her to talk to me anymore. Okay, that's your loss. Because he didn't choose you either. So, I mean, no shade, but we're friends on Facebook. and he didn't choose you. Uh, yeah.
Exclusive
Okay.
after the show. Tune in now.
Yeah. So, people got to keep in mind that, when you're rebuilding relationships, it to me, because I know we're coming close to our end, it depends
Yeah.
on what broke it.
Okay.
And if it comes down to, and we kind of ended with the whole sexuality thing, and that breaks a lot of relationships, families, and
Yeah.
everything, friendships. But if you are my friend, who I sleep with should not dictate or be a condition on our friends
Mm-hmm.
and our friendship and how we show up for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if it do, then we were not friends from the beginning. And to me, there is no rebuilding from that, because I'm not going to change who I am for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That part.
And
That's a great
especially if
point.
I never came to you in that type of way, because
Yeah.
we got taste buds too.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a great point. And in fact, when you was talking about that, that actually happened to me. Um, the other person, uh, I think just closetedly, I just made up a word. I know that's not a
No, but
word,
that's good. It's fitting.
but right, they had some things that they needed to deal with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I, was dating someone else and they felt the type of way, again, that has nothing to do with me. That everything to do with you and
Right,
how you feel. I can't control. I can't do anything about that.
right.
But we figured it out, and we were kind of friends mostly. It was real gray, but whatever. That's a shirt.
Oh, I forgot to get. Okay, before we go, I got to give a plug. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I already been on the website. Actually, my wife is trying to pick something out too, Shay. So, we're gonna place our order here later on today. Um, but yeah, so I just think that, like you said, if we're honest with ourselves and honest with our friends, and our friends are at a place where they can be honest with us, then it's great. We can all get along. Be mature, right?
Right.
And continue to
Be
build upon that
demure. Be
relationship.
mindful.
Okay. I don't know why that word is going around, but hey, whatever. That's that's just what it is.
So listen, Lachey did a wonderful job. She has her own shirts. She has her own t-shirt line.
Yep.
But then she also created Melanated Thoughts.
Ah.
And there is a Regal Mindset shirt,
Okay.
hoodie. I believe she created a hoodie.
Okay.
So go to melanatedthoughts.com, and I'll make sure I put it in there. And when you purchase the Regal Mindset shirt, it goes to Regal Mindset.
Okay. Thank you, Shay.
So it's a beautiful shirt. And
Yeah.
it says keep a regal mindset, because that's what we're here for you to keep a
Absolutely.
regal mindset. You'll find some other things on there, but definitely for regal mindset, if you go to Melanated Thoughts, and I'm going to put it in here, you don't have to worry about capitalizing anything. Gotta put it up here.
Okay.
And
So
yeah, if you purchase a Regal Mindset shirt, you would definitely be benefiting our podcast and pushing it forward financially, and we very much appreciate it.
absolutely we do. Absolutely. Well, no. So, Shay, I was under the impression about the other website that you had on your podcast last night. I don't want to get the
Yes.
site wrong, but yeah, that's where I was shopping at. I was
Shay,
unaware
put it
of.
in the chat, please.
Yeah, please. But yeah, that's where we were shopping. But we'll take a look at both. So I appreciate you mentioning that, Joy. Um, no, yeah. So tonight's conversation again, we just want to we'll wrap it up here shortly as they put it in the chat. Okay, so we've got both of them listed now. Please continue to
And did I
like,
spell
share,
that
and
right?
follow. I'm sorry.
Did I spell that right?
Which one? Let me put these
Melanated.
glasses on.
Look, and I'm looking like, what did I spell? It's
I don't
MELAN.
know that melanated. Let me see.
I
I
don't
don't.
think that's right. I got to
Yeah, it
fix
don't
that.
look right. But while we
I'm gonna
get
delete
this website right,
because we got to see it. Look, my eyeballs ain't
right.
working.
While we get this website right,
And put
we
up
want to.
Kaizen, please.
Hi. Okay, hold on. We appreciate everybody who clicks, and follows the Regal Mindset on all of our social media platforms. Actually, I got on the shirt right now. So yeah, there's Kaiser clothes, a
Crazy.
sweatshirt.
That is why I keep saying Kaiser like
Sweatshirt.
you on PMI.
Yeah, right.
Let me see it again. That's dope. I love that font.
Yeah,
Oh, that's sexy.
Kaiser
We
clothes.
had
So
our pride shirts on. You had me looking real gay.
Kaizen actually means continuous improvement. So
It's actually to a method, not a methodology. It's a process that
yes,
we
Six Sigma.
utilize in PMI.
Yeah, yeah. We use it in Six Sigma all the time.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, that's work stuff. But yeah, so check out the links that's in the chat. Please support these black-owned businesses. They're the cornerstone of the American dream. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All
Um,
money is not good money, but it's good when you invest it in the right places.
yeah, let's start circulating our money more within our community. So we appreciate you in advance. Again, continue to click, share the content from all of our social media platforms. We appreciate that. Next week, we've got a great show coming to you. And we've got great content for the balance of the year. And the 2025, though, man, I'm telling you,
We're gonna be on the road.
man, 2025 is gonna be effing crazy. Okay, effing
We're gonna
crazy. I'm telling
we're
you
gonna be
right
on the
now.
road. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. So, you got anything else, Jay, you want to say before we hit this outro?
Stay amazing and listen. Communicate, communicate, communicate. And you have to place a value on that relationship to determine if it's worth rebuilding. And not always if you're the problem.
That part. Very wise, coach. I appreciate you. All right. Well, stay connected to us. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.